All right, welcome to Sport Talk on Enterprise TV, where sport news from the four corners of the world are delivered at its best. If you are joining us for the first time, please do well to follow us across all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. My name is John Olasukomi. Join me and let's ride together. Joining me virtually today is Daniel Osege, making a return back to Sport Talk. Daniel, it's been a while. Welcome to Sport Talk.
Yeah. Hello, John. Many thanks for having me on the show. Like you said, it's been a bit since I last featured on the show. It feels good to be back.
Where have you been? Are you in Morocco?
I know I'm not in Morocco. I'm in Nigeria, obviously. You know, been
Oh.
watching and enjoying the
Oh,
nation.
all right. It's so sad that the Super Eagles of Nigeria were beaten by Morocco in the last four. But of course, we'll definitely be facing Egypt on the 17th of January 2025. But you know how we do it on Sport Talk? We always start with local football because charity begins at home. All right, Nigeria Super Eagles will take on Egypt Pharaohs in the third place match of the 2025 African Cup of Nations Afcon following their respective defeats in the semi-finals of the tournament. Daniel, you saw the game. Before we talk about the third place, can I just hear from you your own thoughts about the semi-final against Morocco?
I think Morocco saved their best performance for the game against Nigeria because we saw them um, do what they weren't really doing for the majority of the tournament, which was to be combative. Throughout the course of the tournament, just like the Super Eagles, they've been a team that has been attacking, their opponents, being very offensive side. But
Okay.
against the Super Eagles, lucky for them, the newly instated captain, Wilfred Didi, was suspended for the game. Someone who would have been able to try to match them for physicality, but had to have Frank Oyedika, had to have Ralph Oyedika, play in his place. And they were very physical on the ninth, and they stifled the Super Eagles. They didn't allow the Super Eagles to play their game. And one of their game plan was to stop the player who controls the flow of the game from midfield for Super Eagles, Alex Iwobi. You understand? He didn't have the ball at all. Whenever the ball was to be passed to him, he had 2 or 3 men on him, and so he couldn't, be effective. And that goes to show how important Alex Iwobi has become for the national team. He has now shown that he can be, he can be his uncle's man now. You understand? I know it was deliberate for him to shy away from wearing the number 10 jersey because Joe Aribo, Fisayo, Dele Bashiru came and just picked up that jersey number without any competition. If Alex really wanted to pick up that jersey number, the moment Mikel Obi retired, jersey was his to take. But it goes to show that he's a man of himself.
Yes,
he doesn't want to be remembered for wearing the number that his uncle used to wear. And I'm happy for him. We know what he has faced in the past regarding poor performances, by in the national team and how fans have reacted to it. We're still talking about the match. I think the Moroccans, they rode also on the confidence of the home fans. You can't play a match like that and be so expressive. It's because their fans share them all the way. All right. We know that there was a blemish when it comes to officiating in the game. But at the end of the day, the referee was smart enough not to award that penalty very late in the match that could have been given against us. Remember the handball incident with Calvin Bassey, which I
yes, of
think
course.
is not a foul. It's actually not a foul. We've seen referees give it even in this competition. I remember Mali versus Tunisia in the round of 16. Was it Mali Tunisia? I know Mali's game in the round of 16. They were recorded earlier in the match. I think the first half they got a penalty in the dying minutes of the second half, and it was somewhat similar, not entirely similar. But the fact is, the ball hit the legal part of the body before hitting the hand,
Yes,
and
of
the
course.
penalty was given.
That's the
So
rule.
you understand. So, but he was smart enough to balance it up and not commit such an error. So, at the end of the day, Morocco deserves the victory because they were the better side on the night. They attacked very well, stifled the Super Eagles, like I said, and rode on, the support of the fans, and we're quite fortunate to be on the better side of the referee.
All right, thank you for that one, Daniel. Now let's go straight to the third place, which happens to be our own bet, right? We've won it more than any other country on the continent. Talking about the third place, we'll be facing Mohamed Salah in the third place. What are your thoughts?
You said it all. I mean, it was regarded as the Golden Bronze at some point in time. The NFF have always set the minimum expectancy from their coaches to make it to the semi-finals. And when you make it to the semi-finals, it's either you advance to the winners' final or you play in the losers' final. More often than not, we've found ourselves playing in the losers' final. Especially in this century, we've dominated in the losers' final. 2002 were silver medalists. 2004. No, sorry, 2000 was when we got to the winners' final. 2002, losers' final, we won it. 2004, losers' final, we won it again. 2006, losers' final, we won it again. Before Ghana defeated us in the quarterfinals in 2008. 2010, losers' final again, we won it. We didn't qualify in 2012. We won the championship in 2013. In 2015, we couldn't qualify. 2017, we couldn't qualify. In 2019, when we made the return, losers final again, we won it. Before 2021, where we were eliminated in the round of 16, last time out, made it to the winners final but lost. So yeah, you said it. Nigeria always find a way to grind out the result when it comes to the third place final. This is going to be a very different opponent, because the Egyptians are not used to playing in this match. They're 7-time champions, the most successful on the continent. So what it tells you is that they find a way to get to the finals and win it, unlike us. But what I'm scared of the most is the fact that at the end of the match against Senegal, or talk about the match between Senegal and Egypt, Mohamed Salah was seen all smiles. I think it's a thing of him preferring to have lost in the semi-final than losing in the final. That reminds you, has lost in 2 Afcon finals.
Yes, of course.
Yes, and so, and especially with the troubles he's having with his team and Liverpool before joining the camp for the Nations Cup, so he feels at ease at this point in time. A happy Mohamed Salah is a dangerous man. You understand that? So, but good to know that the Super Eagles, I was expecting that they will even take some time out. As after failing to get to the stage that they would love to get to. But they resumed training straight up the day after the match, and that goes to show that in spite of the disappointment, they are willing to go all the way.
All right, I would like to see some new faces in that team, talking about the likes of Ebenezer Akinsomiru, the Fargo Award, the Inamdi. I want to see new faces. Let the likes of Ejuke also get some playing time in the third place against Egypt. All right, now let's talk about the final. Morocco versus Senegal. Did you see Sadio Mane going back to Senegal with the trophy once again?
There was once upon a time, say 5 years ago, when there was a comparison between Mohamed Salah and Sadio Mane, who is a better player. And I've always stuck with Mohamed Salah, but unfortunately for fans of Mohamed Salah, Mane and Salah both have 2 African Footballer of the Year awards, which when it's all said and done, at the end of their careers, when the comparison resumes again, they'll be talk about, okay,
what did you do for your country?
You understand, and Mane has as many African Footballer of the Year awards as Salah. You understand, so it will be great for Mane. Fantastic human being. I remember we all know what he does for his community in Pampali, and beyond, even in Dakar. I remember the finals of the Carabao Cup in 2022, if I'm not mistaken, where immediately after the final between Chelsea and Liverpool, he booked a private jet that took he and his opponent on the 9th, but his Edward Mandi, to fly all the way and to represent their country. You understand? So that's the kind of person he is. But this Moroccan team, they need to win the title. But I don't want them to win the boardroom title. That's my own problem. Officiating in this competition has been in their favor one too many times, and it's not coming as a surprise. I mean, Morocco has built CAF out one too many times, especially when it comes to the women's game. You know how many times hosts will pull out of hosting the Afcon, or maybe when they go for inspection of the facilities and they be like it's not good enough, Morocco will just step in and say, you know what, let's rescue the day. The past 2 Afcons have been hosted by Morocco. The next Afcon that's commencing in 2 months' time will be hosted by Morocco again.
Yes, of course.
This Afcon has been hosted by Morocco. The CAF Awards in the past few years that's always been in Cairo has now been hosted in Morocco. So it looks like CAF is trying to compensate them because they've not won the Afcon for many years, well over 3 decades. You understand? So that is what I don't want. The team is good enough. Let them play. Let them work for whatever they want to achieve. Because it's a very fantastic team. They have the best player in Africa, in Achraf Hakimi, probably the best right back in the whole wide world.
In the world, yes, of course. I agree with you on that one, Daniel.
And I think they should just allow them play. Let's watch beautiful football on Sunday night and enjoy the match. But if Mane wins it, his legendary status in African football will just shoot, and I think it will finally break into that league of being spoken about in the same sentence as the likes of Didier Drogba.
Of course. I would like to ask you this question, Daniel Oshege. I don't know if you agree with me that Sadio Mane is the greatest Senegalese player of all time. In as much as I respect the likes of Elaji Diop, the Fadiga, the Solomon, what is his name? The Henry and Kamara brothers, all of them, I still feel that Sadio Mane is the greatest Senegalese player of all time.
No, that's for sure. There's no doubt. But at the end of the day, there's always a lot of recency bias to this sometimes. You understand? But for the fact that Sadio Mane played for a team like Liverpool, although Elaji Diop also played for Liverpool,
but was not that important.
Was not a key member for his Liverpool side. But it was brilliant. He had the flair. It was a bad boy of football. Also, some of us don't remember him for that. Very, very bad boy. But I think what stands out for him is the fact that he won 2 African Footballer of the Year, and he was terrorizing defenses in France. The moment he moved to England, the standard of football in England, is always on a different level. But he's a great player. I mean, that's 2002 World Cup performance by that Senegalese
Of course,
team.
they also made history. They went on to the quarterfinal.
Quarterfinals. That's a performance that Africa will never forget.
Yes,
so that's what worked in their favor. And even earlier in that competition, they went they went deep in the Afcon as well. So, but Mane is definitely because you look at the fact that he played for a Liverpool side that made the Champions League final 3 times in 5 seasons. Although they could only win 1, but that goes to show dominance and consistency. He also was part of that team that delivered Liverpool's first league title in 30 years. Winning the Golden Boot in the Premier League in the process. All right, and like we said, he has won the African Cup of Nations with Senegal. That's what drove. Even their former coach, who was the captain at the time,
Cisse,
couldn't accomplish. So he definitely is the greatest Senegalese player in history, and at this point in time, he's gradually knocking on the door to be amongst the top 5 greatest African footballers of all time.
Of all time, that is his,
definitely a top 10 candidate, but for top 5, there's a lot of George Weah is up there. Samuel Eto'o Fuse is up there. Didier Drogba is up there.
Drogba is there.
Just to name a few. Even Roger Miller. You understand? A lot of great players.
Abedi Pele.
Abedi Pele, you rightfully said. Yeah. Even the Zambian maestro,
Kalusha Boya.
Kalilu Boya, so lots of great names. So, Mane has
How come you didn't mention the likes of JJ Okocha Kanu Wanko? Come on, Daniel.
I was going to mention Kanu, but impact on the club side, even JJ has a better club career than Kanu. Kanu won the titles. Yeah,
Yes, of course.
was in the when Ajax won the final of the Champions League, he came as a sub because he was still a very young man at the point in time. He was only 18 at the time. Yes, but after that season, when they now lost in the final the following year, he had come of age. He was already a starter. He started playing the entirety of that match. Yes, so in the time when he was the first 11 player for the Ajax team, they couldn't win the Champions League. Yes, I went to Inter Milan. We know he struggles with heart condition. Came to Arsenal. A bench player. Even Thierry Henry came in, and started benching him. So that's that. I'm looking at impact, not only the titles. He's one of the most decorated in Africa, but impact on the global stage. And that's is where Mane will edge it for me.
All right. Thank you for that one, Daniel Osege. Let's take a look at the Afcon group stage. Of course, the draw was made in Morocco on the 15th of January 2025. And of course, in Group A, we have Morocco, Algeria, Senegal, and Kenya. In Group C, we have South Africa, Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, and Tanzania. In Group B, I beg your pardon. In Group C, we have the Super Falcons against Egypt, Malawi, and of course, Zambia. And of course, in Group D, we have Ghana, Cameroon, Mali, and Cape Verde. All right, away from the Afcon and of course the Afcon, let's move straight to the MPFL. MPFL continues. The Nigerian Premier Football League MPFL Match Day 20 delivered a series of surprising outcomes on Wednesday, 14 January, with several away teams recording impressive victories across various centers. And of course, the first question is this, Daniel. These days, we now see teams winning away from home without fights, without chaos, without wala. In Nigeria. This is what we want to see. Daniel?
Definitely. The biggest surprise had to be Caterpillars, who are wallowing in the relegation zone, pick up an away victory. It came as a rude shock. Even Bendel Insurance, they hardly win away from home. And for them to pick it up, it was impressive. Warri Wolves have been a decent side this season, so for them to pick up and the way win wasn't a surprising one for me. Yes, just like you said, those are the kind of things we want to see, where teams are allowed to express themselves even on the road. Okay, we know that some teams in the MPFL, I will regard their style to the Antonio Conte style. The Conte style in the sense that he focuses on the league and then disregards any other cup competition. It's not like he really disregards it, but it doesn't get the desired results in cup competitions as compared to the league. So for a lot of MPFL teams, they play their best 11, the strongest side at home when it's time to play away from home. They've lost the match even days before the match, so they go with maybe 6 or 7 of their first 11 players, fill it up with some other players, because the results, as far as they are concerned, was already ready before they step on the pitch. So why stress those other players? Why don't keep them fresh for the home tie, where you have to grind out the result? And that's the thing. That was the tale of the MPFL, but not anymore. Because see teams pick up maximum points away from home, and it's beautiful, because if every team wins their home matches, it brings disrepute to the league. The credibility of the league will be questioned, and that's why it can be very funny when you see the MPFL table, where the team in first position at the end of the season will not even be able to double the tally of the team in last position. You understand? Or sometimes it will be difficult for you to see the team even have a 30-40 points gap over the last place position. It only happens in the MPFL, trust me. Or maybe a league that is not up to a 20 team league. In a 20 team league, the first place team is supposed to accrue as much as 3 times the amount of points secured by the last place team. That goes to show that you are the champion and they are the worst team in the league. But with ways like this, yes, we can those kind of the normal outcomes will eventually be the story order of the day.
All right. Thank you for that one. Let's take a look at the results. Rangers, midweek result, Rangers goalless against Rivers United. Warriors lost at home to Wiki Tourist. Kwara United lost to Insurance. Shooting Stars defeated the biggest team in the NPFL, Imba 3-0. Remo Stars won the Southwest Derby against Kodu City 1-0. National United 0. Kano Pillars 1. Katsina United 2. Queen Khalifa 0. Academy Warriors 1. Bayelsa United 0. Abia Warriors 1. Plateau United 1. Barao 2. Niger Tornadoes 1. Out of these weekend fixtures, of course, we'll be having Bender Insurance versus Academy Warriors, Kano Pillar versus Abia Warriors, Rivers United versus Remo Stars, Eimba versus Barao, Warriors versus Katsina United, Nasarawa United versus Niger Tornadoes, Ikodu City versus Kwara United, Bayelsa versus Shooting Star, Queen Khalifa versus Enugu Rangers, Plateau United, we host Wiki Tourist. All right, away from our local football, let's move straight to foreign football. We'll be starting with the English Premier League. Michael Carrick will step into the dugout as Manchester United interim manager for the first time on Saturday, 17 January at Old Trafford, tasked with steadying a side that has stumbled through another bleak winter. Daniel, you know what they say, that first impression really lasts long, and of course, Carrick in charge of Man United will be playing against Pep Guardiola's side, Manchester City, that just got this man from Bournemouth talking about Semenyo, and he has been in great form. 2 games, 2 goals, 1 assist. Jeremy Doku is up there. Another has been struggling to score goals, but whenever it comes to Manchester derby, you will definitely see the Viking himself, the beast, talking about Erling Haaland. Don't you think this task is just too much for Michael Carrick on his first game? Daniel.
I mean, you rightfully said it's a big game to be your first game in charge of a team, especially on an interim basis where you're more like on probation. Basically, it's like an audition for you. You do well over the course of the next 4 months, and you could keep the job. You understand? I mean, we've seen coaches excel on probations like this. Case in study was Roberto Di Matteo in 2012. When he took over from Andre Villas-Boas on an interim basis, and he went on to win the FA Cup and the Champions League with Chelsea, and he got the job on a permanent basis. Okay. I mean, some coaches have come up tops. Maybe not in interim. In the interim, I remember in 2004, Jose Mourinho's first official game with Chelsea was against Manchester United. And they came out victorious, 1-0. I think that long goal was scored by Edoku Johnson, if I'm not mistaken, way back in 2004. And from then on, Chelsea went all the way to win the Premier League for the first time, or the league title the first time in 50 years. All right. Michael Carrick is the player who featured in the Manchester derby one too many times. So, it's not a strange game for him. He knows the magnitude of this fixture. And you can see the type of players, managers rather, that is working with him. Johnny Evans, another player who played for United for many years, featured in this debut as well. That I could also see this former Chelsea assistant manager. His name skips my mind. I think his name skips my mind at this point in time. I think but these are managers who have been in very, very big dugouts, and so it's not a bad one. I think Carrick, with the experience and the performances he's had around, I feel he can be a top manager. All right, but sometimes all these ex-footballers, they don't really excel at the highest level. Look at Frank Lampard, did well with Derby County, came to Chelsea, did a good job in his first year before losing it. And look at what he's doing at Coventry City now. Fantastic outing. So maybe we'll get to find out if Carrick is built for the top level of English football, or he will have to settle for the Championship.
All right, let's take a look at other fixtures. Manchester United versus the Manchester City is an early kickoff game. And of course, Sunderland will host Crystal Palace. Chelsea, let's see if they will bounce back against Brentford. Liverpool versus Burnley. Tottenham versus West Ham United. Leeds versus Fulham. Nottingham Forest playing at home against Arsenal. You expect Arsenal to take this one on paper. They are really working hard, of course, to win this league this season. Wolves versus Newcastle United. Aston Villa will host Everton. Away from England, let's move straight to Italy and Spain. In the Italian Serie A, Adrian Rabiot made sure that AC Milan stayed 3 points behind Serie A leaders Inter Milan with a brilliant brace on Thursday, 15 January win at high-flying Como, a victory that had a distinct French flavor. There is one thing about Como. I think we are not giving Sheikh Fabregas the credit that he deserves. I saw the game and I was like, Fabregas has really done so much on this particular team. Talking about Como, they gave AC Milan a run for their money. In fact, I think the person that they should be thanking right now is the man in between the stick for AC Milan, Menon. He was awesome against Como. But let's talk about AC Milan. They are really giving Inter Milan too much problem on the log table. They just want to win the league, especially the man that has won it all, talking about Luka Modric. Do you think they can go all the way to win this league this season, Daniel?
No, I don't think so, because luckily for them, one of their rivals has been less efficient than they've been over the past 18 years. I'm talking about none other than Napoli, who have not been. I'm finding it difficult to grind out results in recent years, recent weeks. I beg your pardon. But when Inter Milan is on top of the league, it's a challenge for anyone who or any team rather that's chasing, right? Especially a team like AC Milan that we know for sure, will still drop points, at some point in time. Inter Milan look good for the title this season, as far as I'm concerned. The chasing part, Milan, like you rightfully said, Napoli will keep on trying, but there's going to be only one winner, and that's Inter Milan for me.
All right, let's take a look at other fixtures. Pisa will host Atalanta, Udinese versus Inter Milan, Napoli versus Sassuolo, Cagliari will host Almaty Juventus, Parma versus Genoa, Bologna versus Fiorentina, Torino versus Roma, AC Milan will host Lecce. And of course, in Spain, Real Madrid will face Levante. Let's see what Belua. He lost his first game in charge in the cup, and of course Copa del Rey, and he will be facing Levante this weekend. Daniel, in just 30 seconds, let's talk about Belua. Xabi Alonso left Real Madrid, and of course they went for Belua. That has not been doing well with the Real Madrid B. Talking about the Castilla, he lost his first game in charge, and of course this is La Liga that Barcelona are running riots. Do you see them challenging Barcelona for the league? They are trailing with 4 points already. Do you see them challenging Barca?
So the thing is, it's funny that Arbeloa and Xabi Alonso had similar career paths. I mean, both players signed for Real Madrid from Liverpool. The former teammates at Liverpool. So, oh my goodness. So conversations like this make me feel like I'm older than I am.
Come on, don't talk about.
It must have been 17, 18 years ago when they were both playing for Liverpool. And 2009, Alonso made the switch. Arbeloa also made the switch. That's a long time ago. Honestly, I mean, people like you who've been involved in extracurricular activities for long would know that by now the result of your activities would have gotten to a certain age. But I think it's a brilliant one that I'm happy to see players that I watched play. Go into management.
Yes,
it goes to show. It reminds me of how long I've loved the sport. All right, but for Abelua, like you rightfully said, he hasn't been doing well with the Casilla. But you have to understand that Real Madrid Casilla hasn't been excellent for a long time. They've not been excellent for a long time. So having him get that step up, it might just be what he needs to get it done. Because let's not forget, Zinedine Zidane was once the coach of the B side, and look at what he eventually achieved with Real Madrid, winning the Champions League in 3 seasons in succession. So let's give him a try. First game for a manager was appointed a few days before, might sometimes not be a reflection of what he has to offer. Because it might take some time for the players to digest his ideas and all of that. He will just want them to proceed the first game first. Let's just get the results any which ways, and then we can now come back to getting it done my way. You understand? So let's keep our fingers crossed. And 4 points is not so much because there's still the second leg of the El Clasico to be played in La Liga. Madrid makes that, and it's down to 1 point. So and from then on, it's anybody's title to win.
All right, let's take a look at other fixtures. Mallorca versus Athletic Bilbao, Osasuna will host Real Oviedo, Betis versus Villarreal, Getafe versus Valencia, Atletico de Madrid versus Alaves, Celta Vigo will host Rayo Vallecano, Real Sociedad versus Barcelona. In Bundesliga, we have Bremen versus Frankfurt, Hoffenheim versus Leverkusen, Cologne will host Mainz, Hamburger versus Mönchengladbach, Dortmund versus St. Pauli, Leipzig versus Bayern Munich, Stuttgart will host Union Berlin. And of course, in France, French Ligue 1, PSG will host Lille, Monaco versus Lorient, Lens versus Auxerre, Toulouse versus Nice, Angers versus Marseille. I just hope they will not harvest the old anger on Olympique de Marseille. Nantes versus Paris FC, Lyon we host Brest. Away from foreign football, let's move straight to other sports. In the world of tennis, defending champion Yannick Sinner arrives at the Australian Open, a different man to the one who walked into Melbourne Park a year ago, stronger in body and mind after navigating a period he describes as the most difficult of his young career. Daniel, let's talk about Wimbledon. I will be starting in few days, and of course, my major concern is all about your GOAT, talking about Novak Djokovic. He still holds the winning streak when it comes to Wimbledon. I think it's 45 if I'm correct. And of course, these lads are not just taking it easy on him at all. How I wish that your GOAT, Novak Djokovic, will get to win this one. Of course, I'm still with the man from Spain, talking about Carlos Alcaraz. These are the talking points. Let's talk about Novak Djokovic.
All right. First of all, it's the Australian Open at this point in time.
We can hear you. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So I said just before Yannick Sinner came into the limelight in 2023, it's not like he's been around, but before he now became that dominant force, you understand, there was a certain Novak Djokovic who was, winning, winning the Australian Open for fun. If you check his track record, he has won 24 Grand Slams in total. That's definitely not news anymore. But of them, he has won 10 in Melbourne, 10 Australian Opens of the 24. He has not won beyond even 4 elsewhere, aside from at Wimbledon, where he has won 7. So it goes to show you how dominant he was. In fact, there's been like 2 times when he has won it 3 years in a row in his career. But now that we've got what you call Yannick Sinner, anybody that faces Yannick Sinner on hard court, it's like a lost match before he commences. So that's the challenge for Novak at this point in time. And Novak is not getting any younger.
Yes, Novak will be 38. Come on.
May. Will be 39 in May. And these young guys, Carlito, You know, it's still only 22. You know,
Mm.
Yannick Sinner is still only 24,
Mm.
and they're already in their peak at a very tender age. That's why it's difficult for Novak. I don't see Novak making any Grand Slam final again. I've said it on the show before,
Come on. Mm.
except either of them, that is on his own path to the final,
Mm.
gets eliminated by someone else.
Okay.
Because the thing is, when either of Yannick Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz comes up
Novak.
against Novak Djokovic,
Novak. Yeah.
they will definitely step up their game
Yes, of course. Mm.
as compared to playing a lower ranked player or
Mm.
any other player. So if they can have a bad day against a lower ranked player and the player who is on the path to the final with Novak gets eliminated, then they
Mm.
can get to the Grand Slam final. And I trust Novak
Mm.
if he gets to the final of the Grand Slam. Forget whatever
Forget about it.
forget
Just forget it.
forget the prime
Mm.
forget the prime of these young players and forget their exuberance as youths that they are. Novak will stand a chance. I'm not saying he's
Mm.
going to defeat them in the Grand Slam final. It's going to be very difficult,
Mm.
but he won't make it easy for them. Because take a look at the final of at the Olympic Games in 2024 when Novak won. I mean, it was a very tense match. He had to win in straight set. No, he didn't
Mm.
break Carlos Alcaraz. Alcaraz didn't break him. He won that match 7-6, 7-6. Both sets
Mm.
went into.
Straight sets. That's serious. That's crazy. Mm. You can't take anything away from Novak Djokovic. He will surely deliver any day, anytime. All right. Thank you for that one, Daniel Osege. That is how much we can take on Sport on Enterprise TV 7. If you are here to follow us across all social media, endeavor to do that. We are at Enterprise TV 7 across all social media platforms. Visit our website at www.enterprisetvnews.com, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Daniel Osege has begun on the show today. Daniel, are you still with us? My name remains John Olasukomi. See you next time.